had band together. And I truly cannot express how proud I am to be standing here tonight to show off how remarkably far she has come, both as a musician and a person. On behalf of Danny and all of the performers, I would like to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to support her in her final high school performance. Also, as a friendly reminder, please be sure to silence your cell phones before the amazing music begins. Tonight you will be taken on a journey of Danny's musical career thus far, opening with the second movement of Mouquet's Flute de Pan Sonata. This piece was written by Jules Mouquet as a series of movements embodying the character of Pan of Greek mythology. With her love of flute growing rapidly, Danny stumbled across this piece in 8th grade and fell in love. Shortly thereafter, she started taking lessons with Jane, one of the many teachers who truly changed her life. At their very first lesson, ambitious little Danny marched in there with Liszt's challenging piece, only to receive a much-needed reality check. She was hardly equipped to play a piece of this caliber, as Jane gently reminded her. 4 years and many lessons later, Jane's passionate instruction has inspired a powerful love of music and all it has to offer. Danny knows she wouldn't be half the musician she is without Jane, and cannot express enough gratitude for the gift she has passed on. Danny would like to dedicate this piece to Jane as a recognition of how far she has come thanks to her marvelous teacher. Composed in 1906, please enjoy Pan and the Birds. Good news, guys, there's like a lot more of that. Okay, this next piece is Colors of the Wind, and it was Danny's first ever solo piece. Way back in 7th grade, accompanied by her mentor, Kevin, she got up in front of an audience much smaller than this, consisting of a very scary judge, me, and her proud dad. For all her life, her dad has shared his love of music with her and cultivated her passion for every genre of art. Since that first solo, he has constantly supported her, rarely missing a performance and always the loudest cheer in the crowd. But Colors of the Wind has always held a dear place in his heart. Every time Danny brought up her senior recital, her dad would say, "You need to play Colors of the Wind," at least just part of it. So she decided to take his request to heart and surprise him. This time, with a new spin on it, Danny would like to dedicate this nostalgic piece to her dad with the help of her beloved flute section, as you can see. This piece will feature Abby, so do you guys want to like wave? This piece will feature Abby. Sophie. Adrian. Melina. Chloe. Lucy. Sadie. Mona. Clara. And Brooke. Danny is so grateful to have had the opportunity to lead this wonderful group of musicians during the marching season, treasuring the bond they've all built, both on and off the field. She would also like to thank Kevin, who gave her the momentum to continue in music. With overwhelming gratitude and love for her fluties and her dad, here is Colors of the Wind. It was amazing. Okay. Get off stage. I know we're all tired of hearing about it, but the COVID pandemic is an undeniable fact of life, especially in the music world. In Danny's words, COVID has shown me that musicians, especially our teachers, will stop at nothing for their music to be shared. Despite the distance, my directors worked their butts off to keep our program alive and instilled in us the value that our music matters and should be heard. It takes a very special person to have the patience and drive to inspire young musicians. It takes people like Mr. Radin, Mr. Armstrong, Mrs. Holmes, Mrs. McGinnis, Mr. McGee, and so many others to make these programs what they are, and Danny would like to thank each of them with this piece. Originally introduced to her by Dana, Hall of Ghosts is an incredibly introspective piece for unaccompanied piccolo, embodying the contrapuntal dialogue between the ticking of time and an instrument striving to make itself heard in an empty hall. It was written in the back half of the pandemic to emulate the absence of music. The composer, Harberg, directs the player to, in their interpretation, determine who wins, the music or the ghosts. Tonight, Danny would like to celebrate the triumphs of music and how far it has carried her these past 4 years, especially with the help of every teacher, director, and fellow musician she has met. This is Hall of Ghosts. I think it's crazy that like how tiny that thing is, how loud and lovely it can sound. Okay. As Dani's musical involvement has grown, her mom, without any hesitation, rose to the challenge of becoming her manager, or as we might lovingly call her, her momager. She drove her to endless rehearsals, scoured the vast expanse of Facebook for fluting opportunities, helped to build Dani quite the ample library of gently used music sheets, and even managed to familiarize herself with the terms tone holes and C-sharp trill key when they were in the market for a new flute. She's always been looking for ways to connect to Dani's musical career, regardless of not having a musical background. The composer of this next piece, Ian Clarke, writes modern tunes for flutes, experimenting with extended techniques, features on the flute such as pitch bends, which you'll hear in this piece, flutter tongue, or key slaps. When Dani and her mom first heard Ian Clarke, his unique style made enough of an impression for the name to stick with them both. From then on, at every recital that featured one of his pieces, her mom would always point out his name and say, "Hey look, Ian Clarke." It's always warmed Dani's heart to see her mom get excited about music she recognized, and for that reason, she chose an Ian Clarke piece to dedicate to her in attempts to thank her for the constant support she's provided. Dani knows that in order to thank her mom for how much she's done, words can hardly scratch the surface, but she hopes that this lyrical flute duet featuring Clara Trong and Dana Burnett will speak for her. Please enjoy Maya by, of course, Ian Clarke. some bad news. We've made it to our final piece of the evening. The fourth movement of Muczynski's Flute Sonata, which was written around 1960, became what Danny considers to be a labor of love. The work itself was presented to one of Muczynski's flute friends as a test run soon after it was written. Not too shortly after it was mailed, the friend sent it right back, claiming that it was, and I quote, way too hard and nobody would ever play it. However, Danny's going to play it. Danny spent much of her free time doing painfully slow practice to master this thrilling and energetic piece. But it wasn't until she put it with piano that she truly felt the rush it was intended to evoke. Through the past 2 years, Danny and Dana have played away many hours, rehearsing, refining, recording, and performing pieces that were beyond Danny's imagination. Every one of those hours spent in Dana's living room has inspired Danny more than words can say, and she is eternally grateful to Dana for helping her keep her musical spark alive throughout the weight of the pandemic and her competitions. To quote Danny, "Dana, without you, there is no way I'd be where I am today. Thank you for always believing in me and for simply making music so much fun. We've always said that this is our piece, but tonight, this one's for you." And now, to end her recital with a bang, here are Danny and Dana performing the rapid and wild fourth movement of Muczynski's Flute Sonata. script, it says Danny's going to come over and talk, but I want to talk first. I've known Danny for 6 years, and I was in a yes, I was in band with her for the first 2 years, and then I quit, and she recently, very recently, just forgave me for it. But she's one of those people that I am so grateful for, and she's always been there for me, even if, we didn't have a class together from 6th grade to 12th grade. And somehow we have stayed friends because she's so genuinely sweet and cares about everyone, and also a very talented musician. It blows me away, the things. You've grown so much since you were in 6th grade. And I'm gonna shut up now because you've seen a lot of me and Danny wants to talk. But thank you so much for coming. So dry, guys. Sarah's really tall. Okay. This guy, can we get a hand for Sarah? All right. I didn't prepare anything, so I'm just gonna talk. And I'm the last slot, so I can talk for as long as I want. I really just want to say thank you to everybody, and you've heard that a lot tonight, but thank you, everyone. My family for being here. Los quiero mucho. Everybody that flew in. She speaks Spanish, yes. Obviously, my parents, my teachers. Jane couldn't be here tonight. She's in Israel, but I still want to say thank you to Jane. To everybody that showed up, it really means a lot. To my whole ensemble, you guys were great. I know that I made you show up for longer rehearsals during lunch than you wanted to. To Clara, who has been my #1, sitting right next to me the whole year. I don't know, if I forget to say your name, I'm sorry. Oh, I have a really big thank you to give. My brother is so great. My parents were like, how come you didn't put him in your recital? Because he's too good. Because then everyone would be like, whoa, they should have just done a senior recital for him already. You've pushed me to be an amazing human and an amazing sister and an amazing musician, which I am, but whatever. But not as amazing as you, and I really appreciate you. And you saying that's my sister, I was about to cry, so thanks. He put our programs out and he put our posters out. And he was just so helpful today and all the days, and I really don't know where I'd be without you. I'm really glad we didn't leave you at home so you didn't get lost that one time. So, I love you very much. All my friends, all the bandies, thank you, Mr. Radin, Mr. Armstrong. My first band teacher, Miss McGinnis, who I don't think is here, but thank you, Miss McGinnis. Thank you, Mrs. Holmes, who will always be Miss Costler to me. Thank you for forcing me to do Golden Eagle Band against my will, even though I didn't want to, and I'm doing this as a career at the school that you went to. Cassie Fullerton, guys. And really thank you to everybody that showed up. You guys all pushed me to be a better musician, and I can't wait to see what all of you bandies do. I'm going to be back all the time, because I'm not far. Beware. Okay, go home. Thanks.